Welcome to Uncle's Channel. Thanks for watching today. Let's talk about the PS5 Pro that is coming out in November with a $700 price tag, and it does not play Bloodborne at 60 frames per second. So right there, we've already disappointed the vast majority of my audience and the vast majority of PS5 owners. But there are other factors that also contribute to a lack of value here. There is no disk drive that is included. There is no vertical stand that is included. And so by the time you put like all those extra additions on the PS5 Pro here, and you add tax onto it, you're looking at close to a $1,000 console, like $900 and something dollars, just simply to get this home and finally be able to play these games with a little bit better graphics and a little bit better fidelity rate when it comes to frames per second. And I know I'm starting out the gate being pretty darn hard on the PS5 Pro, but truth be told, the majority of players just simply do not need this extra power, or they probably wouldn't notice the extra power that's coming out through the games that they're going to be playing. Now, they are promising what's called the Big 3 here for a larger GPU, making the gameplay or rendering gameplay 45% faster, advanced ray tracing, which if you're like me, you don't even really notice ray tracing a whole lot, and AI-driven upscaling, which they're going to call PSSR, and evidently Microsoft's been doing this forever on the PC, so it's not like a big deal for PC players, but for PlayStation players, it could be somewhat of a big deal when it comes to like PS4 games. But what they're basically saying here is if you take those big 3 components that the PS5 Pro is going to have and push them all together, you're going to have a system that does not need to be choosing anymore between performance mode or graphics mode. Because if you load up pretty much any new release on the PS5, you have to choose, do you want to have better graphics and a lower frame rate, or a higher frame rate and a little bit worse graphics? And they're basically trying to make it where all games are going to have good graphics and a higher frame rate at the same time. And I have a little bit of doubt if they're really going to hit that mark as much as they say they are, because during the presentation they had this exact quote, and I'll let it play right here.
Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro.
Now, at first he said removing that decision, but then he changed it to narrowing the divide, which means that they're still going to have to probably choose in the majority of your games, do you want performance mode or do you want graphical mode? So they're already saying like the PS5 Pro is not going to necessarily live up to every, I guess, hype that they're planning for it to. Now, they also said it's going to have 8K graphics, but at the same time, they also planned the original PS5 to also have 8K graphics. It was like literally on the box. And as far as I know, like not a single game actually lived up to that. And so it's sort of odd that they're promising it again, even though they promised it last time. They probably will live up to it this time. It's just sort of, I don't know, an annoyance for longer-term PlayStation fans who invested in it. And I don't even have an 8K TV. I can't even take capabilities of it anyway. But just sort of, I don't know, a slap in the face to say like, hey, we're promising it again, even though we promised it last time. But what they're really saying here is if you purchase a PS5 Pro, you're going to get a better frame rate and better graphics on pretty much every PS5 game that's going to come out, and also the PS5 games of the past. But what has really caught my biggest attention from the presentation, or the information that's come out from the presentation, is something called the PS5 Pro Game Boost. Now that basically means they're going to take that AI-driven upscaling for the PS5 games and basically backdate it to also include the PS4 games. They said like 8,500 backwards compatible PS4 games are playable on the PS5 Pro, and they should be able to take advantage of, to some degree, to this PS5 Pro Game Boost. Now, that basically means you're going to have, the AI technology to sort of fill in some of the possible graphic resolutions of them, or possibly help it get up to actual frame rate of what they're claiming to be. But like some games are still not going to be able to go above a certain frame rate. Like take, for example, Bloodborne. That is patched at 30 frames per second. Even if they do this Pro Game Boost here, it's still going to be capped at 30 frames per second unless they do a patch on that actual game. Now, the Game Boost might actually help it get up to the 30 frames per second and stay there and never dip a frame, but it's not going to go above what the game is originally designed as. And so the best it's going to possibly be able to do, get up to the maximum in-game frames per second and possibly a little bit better game resolution, but even that might be a little bit doubtable without an actual patch on the game itself. And so I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this, because they could do a lot of cool stuff with the older PS4 games, but at the same time, who wants to buy a $700+ console just to play old PS4 games when you can probably at some point soon possibly emulate them on your PC? And so that's going to be obviously a huge deal for Sony dealing with things in the future, and that's probably why they're doing this AI boost here, just simply to compete with the PC market for that PS4 emulation. Like, I've not done any of myself, but I heard that the Bloodborne on PS4, they're slowly making improvements little by little, and eventually they're going to just bypass what the PS5 Pro can do by playing Bloodborne on your computer. So Sony really probably should step it up at some point and just do a Bloodborne remaster like everyone is hoping for. But who knows if they're actually going to do that. And also, speaking about the price tag in general, I did see an article breaking it down. If you want to build like your own custom gaming PC, if you spent the $700 or I guess $800 by the time you put a disk drive in there, you can make a really awesome custom gaming PC that could basically destroy the PS5 as far as like what it could output as far as graphics and frame rate and all of that. Now, if you buy a pre-built gaming PC, you probably won't be able to get a better deal for your money. But if you just simply put the money into it, built it yourself, you can probably get a way better device. And then you have a really great gaming PC, a regular PS5 to catch up on the exclusives, and you have pretty much the best of both worlds. But what do you all think? Are you planning on picking up the PS5 Pro? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it's a good price? Do you hate the price? Just let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos listed up above. Go out there, find a great game to play. Simply have a great rest of the day.